Hello. We just had a little mini transformation in the studio this morning. I'm Helen from iCare, iMove, and with me today is Pat Taylor, and we are teaching Totter. Now, what on earth is Totter? We've got names for everything. Well, actually, Totter is almost a step up or step down, which from a positive point of view, I think it's a step up. Totter is about active exercise to support the falls prevention program that we do and to help people just progress on with movements outside of the falls prevention model. So we have recently started doing some Pilates. Pilates is something that we've been teaching over 20 odd years. It changes everything. When I first started teaching Pilates, I didn't really get it, because if you weren't sweating, you weren't working hard enough. It took about 6 months to grasp the key principles of Pilates, which then transcended across every single form of activity and exercise I've ever taught since. So Joseph Pilates was the creator, and he was German. And during the First World War, he created this model. He got incarcerated in the Isle of Man, being a German person in the First World War. And he ended up working on he was quite unwell, but he was on a hospital ward unwell, and built a frame around his bed where he started doing some rehabilitation. He recovered and then developed a model around a frame, which is today called a Cadillac. And his model, he couldn't basically get any work in the UK after the First World War, so he went off to America, to New York, and also to California, where he taught the New York School of Ballet, his Pilates method. In those days it was called contrology, and then he also taught powerlifters his method. So you can see there was a real sort of contrast of people, because back in sort of like early last century, there weren't that many people lifting, but if you think about the gymnastics that was around then, and also the Women's School of Health and Wellbeing, is that what it's called? Health and Fitness, the women's, do you remember that? And you'd see women do like the shoulder stands and bicycle their legs. You know, a lot of that was influenced from the Pilates method. Ballet warm-ups now is all taken from Pilates. So that's a bit about Joseph Pilates. He died, and it's a real culture around Pilates. It is designed for exercise and activity, unlike yoga, because there's this confusion always between one and the other. Yoga is more of a culture and a way of living, the whole yoga philosophy, whereas Pilates is around exercise, rehabilitation and movement. So there's the first separation. Then Pilates is also drawn from more of a Greek influence of movement patterns, when you looked at the Greek gods and in mythology, how they trained. Whereas again, we're looking at Asian cultures and Eastern influence for the yoga philosophy. So another separation. Why is it so important today? Well, Joseph Pilates had these key principles, and one of which was around self-awareness. So his method was around teaching you to listen to your own body and respond and react to your own body, which is actually one of the most wonderful things, because it does change how you wear yourself, because you become more aware of how you hold yourself. And also, he only actually created 34 exercises, which kills me, because I think at the time when I trained, I thought 34 exercises, I'll be done in 4 weeks. Like, how are you going to make a lifetime out of 34 exercises? But actually, I've stayed with those key principles, and some of my clients who are still with me today from 20 odd years ago will say, I have never taught the same class twice. And it's just that somehow the 34 exercises can be adapted and progressed and just tweaked a little bit, so something new comes out of each of it. So whereas we've started doing Pilates, now I'm giving you a bit of history of why I'm doing it with you. So you may notice there's a thing called self-supporting spine, and we talk about that in every class. We talk about posture in every class. We talk about breath in every class. And we also connect and relate to pelvic floor. So all of that are some of the key principles from Joseph Pilates and his original education. It's not, what it's not is yoga. What it is yours, and you can adapt and do whatever you need to. So me and Pat today, we're going to run through a couple of movements from the principles. So the original classical method, we're going to do it in a seated and a standing variation. So if you want to stand, crack on and have a lovely time. Okay, so in the first place, so you're going to do the sit and I'll do the stand?
Yeah, I can do.
Okay, so to start with, we start with self-supporting spine or neutral alignment of your spine. So we think about how we wear ourselves. As we age, there is a change. So, and it's a natural change of anatomy. We start tall, and over the years, there's a little bit of change in our structures of our bones, and I'm overemphasizing obviously for the benefit of the camera. So we start, let's have a look at the feet. So unlike falls, where we would say a wide base of support, we now say feet together. Turn your toes out to 10 to 2 on a clock face, and then line up your heels 1, 2 in front of your feet. So what you end up with are feet in parallel. Gallery, can you ditch the graphics for me, please? Lovely, thank you. Okay, so feet are in parallel. Now I'd rather you focus, I'm just going to switch cameras, I'd rather you focus on the outside edges of the feet rather than your bunions, because if you start, because the inside of the feet, the shape changes. So work on big toe, little toe, heel, flat foot. So everything's aligned, switching back straight, everything's aligned. So switch back to camera 3. Okay, so from here, so that's the foot placement. Now for a moment, I want you to think about being absolutely in the center of the foot. And you can do that in both sit and stand. So have a think about being on the outside edges. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to be in the front of the foot? What does it feel like to be in the heels? And see if you can just come straight into the middle, the center of the foot. When you're in the center of the foot, you're in the center of the knee. So we're looking at the knee, which is aligned to the center of the pelvis, which takes us up. So that takes us into better alignment. Okay, good. Now there's a difference between knees locked and knees off lock. So let's just practice that if you're in stand, lock and off lock. We don't need to worry about that so much in sit. So off lock is what we need. And then I want us to think about pelvis. So in a sit, we just like rest into the back of your bum cheeks and then nice and tall onto your tailbones. In stand, just think about taking your bum under and back. So this is just a little bit of a pelvic tilt. And it helps us to release any tension in the low back. So the low back is the hub, it's the house of like everything connects from here, the low back, our core, our pelvic floor, everything, balance all comes into this bit here. Okay, so from that we've got two extremes, two tilts, okay? Come back to what we call the middle. So it's like your pelvis is a big bucket of water. It's either tipping forward or tipping backwards or holding in the middle. So we need to hold in the middle. What happens there is the abdominals start to tighten. So we've got feet in parallel, knees off lock, pelvis in neutral. So we're neither sagging one way. You can see that with my yellow line, sagging one way or sagging the other way. We're just in neutral. Bracing as if we've got a big corset around the center. So pull everything into your center, everything up, tighten. Then we lift up through the collarbones. We send the shoulders back and down. Now if you can, it's more of a palms forward or inward rather than droopy, okay? Because you can see when we're hands sent backwards, we're rolling in through the shoulders. So it's just about Standing tall. Lovely. Good, good. Should we just turn that off for a second? Oof. And then turn it on for a second. Lovely. There's a gold thread pulling you up, so you're literally hanging by this thread, and it's just making you grow as tall as you possibly can. Now, sadly, the chin needs to draw back slightly. When it juts forward, it changes the shape of the neck and shoulders, so we need to draw it in. And when I say sadly, it's because sometimes it gives us a few more chins than we'd like. Okay, so that, I know we've spent time doing that, but that's your setup position. This is where we come back to this. So even if you're doing nothing else, think about your setup position. Okay, now we bring in that breath, and as subtle as it is, it's very, very powerful in Pilates. We breathe in through the nostrils and try and bring the breath to the ribs. So you feel it all swelling here at the bottom of your ribs. And when you breathe out, tighten in that corset. Breathe in, feel that expansion, and then breathe out. At the back of your shoulders, so as you breathe in, I want you to think about breathing into the back of the shoulders. And then breathe out. As you breathe out, what happens is the diaphragm, where your lungs and heart rests on, settles downwards. So there's like a downward motion and then an upward tension. So when you breathe out, there's a downward motion of your diaphragm. It comes down, which pushes your bowel downwards. So there needs to be an upward tension. So your diaphragm here lifts, compresses, and your diaphragm here lifts up. Okay, got that? So this means this is really sturdy, right? You've switched on and it's like rock. So my big brothers would go and try and get me, and I go, that tension would be my abdominals connecting, or my deeper core muscles. Great. I know that was simple, and there was a lot of chat. Ear down to shoulder. Relax other shoulder. Center. Ear down to other shoulder. Relax. Center. Let's repeat that. I'm going to take my glasses off. And the idea here, we're just getting some tension release, is self-aware. So we're thinking, ooh, I've got a niggle there, or that's tight there, I'm going to release it. So this is important to us, just to release off stress tension in the neck. Okay, then it changes. So we bring the ear to shoulder and then eye gaze to floor. So you get a super stretch in the back of the neck. Rise up to me. Other side. So ear to shoulder, eyes to floor. Brace through center, nice and tall. Come back up. Lovely. Good, good, good. Now give me a shoulder roll. There's nothing different between here and some of our other classes where we're going through mobility. Mobility is essential because we need to get those joints nice and lubricated and the muscles warm. Okay, so from here, what I'd like you to do is float your right arm upwards and then downwards. Left arm upwards and downwards. Now you guys, so many of you have been following us during the Falls Prevention and the Renew program. So I know your capabilities. This is where we change, okay? Alternate, one up, one down. Now, if you go really straight, keep your shoulders long and your neck long. So when you're in this position, shoulders down. Now, if you want to, a straighter arm, work towards straightening off at your elbow. Lovely. And simultaneously, so we're alternating. Good, 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 good. I like to imagine there's like a rod going through one shoulder coming out the other. So you're like the little dollies when you were little, you know, when you could just pull out an arm. Sounds very violent. It's not meant to be like that. Okay, rest out. Watch. So this time, it's called Toy Soldier. 1, 2, circle. Beryl went, no, I can't coordinate that. And circle. Okay. So we come to me once, twice, circle. Lovely. Once, twice. Hey Shirley, lovely girl. Once. Beautiful. So keep going. I also do this against walls because then I'm getting the feedback. So you can do this on the floor. So we've got some floor stuff coming to you over the coming weeks. Do you know what? Here's my advice. Do
Always.
not overthink. As soon as you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, I can't remember. I just don't know where I put my arms. Well done. Release, relax. Good job. Rest those shoulders. Bring your arms to your sides. So I'm now in black today. That's not ideal. That wasn't the plan. Okay, so what I'm looking for are elbows at 90 degrees. Okay, nice and tall. Think about engagement through your center. The hands stay at 90 degrees, but drift outwards to the side and come back into center. Breathe in and out. Exhale out to the sides. Inhale to the center. Now there might be a bit of force required here, so I'm just going to go a little bit for exhale, inhale. Now what you may notice, I know I got tension in my shoulder from injury. What you may notice, one side moves slightly different to the other. And if you're standing tall and your posture's great, in your peripheral vision, so just in the edges of your vision, you should be able to see your hands as you go out and in. Keep your elbows in to your ribs and your hands out. So we're not letting the elbows go. We're in. So there might be a bit of space there, and that's to do with, a bit of flesh. Range of movement. So I like to imagine I've got pineapples in my hands just weighing me down slightly. Can I open the door a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how we ask permission to have a turn. Just a little bit of circulation. Lovely, good. Okay, so this is called dumb waiter. Classic Pilates move, and the reason we do this one so much and at the beginning of the session, it's targeting the whole of the rotator cuff, so the whole of that quadrant, the shoulder girdle, both front, top and back and underneath. The other thing that's happening here, you're getting a bit of a flush of any lymph nodes, so where we carry it's like your sewage system in your body, your lymphatic system, and it's having a bit of a squeeze and a bit of a flush. It's important to drink water. Relax your arms. We're just going to give that a bit of a rest. Okay, so in Pilates, it's all about neutral alignment. We are going to do a hip hinge. So we're going to do it in sit and stand. Now, if you feel unsteady, take your feet wider, or make sure you feel supported by a wall. So if you just watch for a second, hinging at the hip. So my back is long and strong, arms to my sides. I'm lowering slowly towards the ground, but my weight is equal in my feet, squeezing my bottom as I rise back to stand. Breath in to prepare, exhale to lower, and let the whole breath take you to that move. Inhale to rise. Don't worry if your breathing isn't coordinated with your movement, your leg won't fall off. So we're hinging at the hip, but we're keeping the back rod-like. I just needed to emphasize strong, straight spine as you hip hinge forward. So, and again, another little tip, feet against a wall. It just gives you that feedback. So when you're coming forward, you just know where you are in space. And keep your feet, think about equal weight between big toe, little toe, heel. That's that self-awareness message that we're really pushing here in this session. Lovely. Shoulders back and down. Think about the shoulder blades. So if you put all your focus in your shoulder blades, it might help you with your posture. Lovely. 2 more. So that is about mobilizing through the pelvis. The opposite to that would be rounding through the pelvis. Now I might have to show you my belly. I want you to pull it in. Right, so just watch first. Chin to chest and suck in, and then release to stand in perfect posture. So as I'm trying to get my eyes onto my belly button, I'm pulling my belly muscles under my ribs. Does that make sense? So when I'm folding, I'm pulling. So in order to perform the movement, I am sucking my abdominals under my ribs, and then I'm releasing it. And I'm making those noises because I'm trying to emphasize the movement. So I'm pulling it under. So what's happening, I'm rounding through the upper back, but I'm using abdominal muscles to perform the move. So this becomes an abdominal and back thoracic part of movement. Does that make sense? Am I making sense to you? It's a different type of movement I'm doing with you. Great, thumbs up, good. And it's really important because this stuff is postural stuff, and it's strengthening those spinal muscles, and we need that because the bones aren't, or the space between the bones is not as good as it used to be when we were younger. Lovely, last time. Do you like that, love? Is that nice?
Yeah, I'm a bit sore.
You feel it in your ribs?
Yeah.
Feel it quite a lot. And these bits here, your obliques, your waistline muscles, your muffin tops, far in. Okay, relax, 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 relax. We're going to do a thing called single knee stretch. So now you've done this before. A lift and a lower. Now watch. So on my head is a cup of tea. I'm going to lift up one knee, pop it down slowly, slowly. In fact, it's a sleeping cheetah. Can we share that today? That's lovely. So why am I telling you that? If you move like that, the cheetah's going to fall off your noggin. You're going to wake it up and it's going to bite your bum. So you need to keep still and lay the foot down really quietly. Or in my house, because my hearing's not as good as it used to be for years in studios, but I swear to God I can hear the fridge open, and I can hear when somebody's rustling in a packet in the
that they're not allowed
in the
to
kitchen,
be, yeah.
that they're not allowed to, or they found mum's stash. So it's that silence. You do not want me to hear you breaking into mum's special Christmas chocolate. So really be quiet as you transfer your feet from right to left. Really important. So, and why? It's super mega slow. When you do this slow, everything around your core is firing. So your balance muscles are super mega working hard right now. Lovely. Oh, it looks nice, doesn't it, the studio today?
It does. It looks
I'm
lovely.
liking this vibe. Lovely. And then release. Good job. Just give yourself a moment. You might need to have a little sip of water, or how do you feel in your chair? You okay?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
It's quite nice, but
Okay.
it's still hard work.
It's it is hard work, isn't it? Right. Okay, so we do balance in our falls prevention class. Now I'm going to do single leg circle with you, okay? So in sit and stand, same thing, wall support if you need to. The idea is I'm going up onto my left side and I'm nice and tall. My right foot is floating. At my hip, I'm just going to draw a circle. 1, 2, 1. Can we switch to low body camera? 2, 1, 2. Good. So you can see that our shoe is floating off the ground. Now, if you want to do this barefoot, you're more than welcome. You get really good feedback when you're barefoot doing these exercises. So when we are here, we're still circling, we're still on the same leg. Think more around what's going on the back side of the movement and start to give yourself a bit of a clench if you want to. If you're in stand, you might start to feel the hip pressure building on the leg that's not moving, and that is normal. Okay, when you're ready, we switch legs, not direction. Okay, switch back, camera 3. Okay, so firstly, think about your posture, so the setup position. So feet aligned, knees aligned, so the middle of my foot is the middle of my knee, the middle of my knee is the middle of my hip. Not my flesh, it's about your hip alignment and your hip alignment. Okay, so then we come onto the leg, we're floating, we're nice and tall, circle 1 and 2. Clench back, brace, collar lift, nice and tall. So again, you may feel that in the supporting leg, and we expect that of that movement. So we're looking to lubricate the joint of the moving leg. We're activating the muscles around the moving leg hip. So those muscles are going bigger and smaller. On the static side, the muscles are engaged and not moving. So they're static. So they're in a, so they're still working. And you want that. You want them to stabilize the non-moving side. So that's the difference in Pilates. That's what we're trying to sort of pull together here with you in Totter. Lovely. Well done. And then release. Good, good, good. That is fab. Well done, everyone. So if you want to, you can just give your hips a bit of a side-to-side rock here. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so feet in alignment. Again, normally we would say wide base of support. If you want to have a wider base, that's completely fine. Hands to your sides. We are going to lower down. Now stay with me. Reach out your arm. Bring it all the way up and then pull yourself back up using your abdominals. Bring your hand down, switch sides. So reach out, lean in. Up, up, and is that right? Is that what I just did? Mm-hmm. It is. And then down. So we're sliding down the thigh, reaching out to the horizon. So that is changing your center point of gravity. And then we're using abdominals to pull ourselves back. And then release. Good job. Slide out to the horizon. Up, up. Down, down. Good. You keep going for me. So what happens is we set you up, get you going, and then there's some coaching points. So self-awareness is the message, right? Take your awareness back to your feet. So as you lean out, your weight should stay the same in your feet. Pull yourself up using your center, relax your arm. So only go to the point where you feel the weight is still the same, because otherwise there's a tipping point there and we don't want that. This is making us, forcing us to work through your center. Well done. I love your really serious faces today. Good job. One more on the right, one more on the left. Lovely. Excellent work. And then release. Good, good, good. Okay, I'm not quite sure I'm going to adapt this in sit. You might need to come forward into the front third. Okay, so I just want us to look at how we stretch out through the front. Self-aware, again, as we age, our posture changes, so we need to think up and back. What I'm looking for is hands behind us, and it's kind of like let the palms cross. So 1, 2, open. 1, 2, open. Some people find it's better with a bent knee and leaning forward slightly, but let's just have a little play with this, because I can feel my shoulder shape changing as I perform this movement. 1, 2, open. Left, right, open. Right, left, open. Got it? 1, 2, open. 1, 2, open. 1, 2, open. 1, 2. So you might start to feel this down through the neck and into the shoulders, and I expect that too. So that's the muscles that we're targeting here. But this is about really opening up through our posture and wearing ourselves as tall as we possibly can. Last time, and then rest your arms and rest your shoulders. How are we feeling? I'm hoping you're going to tell me that you're already feeling about 4 foot taller, right? Yeah? Good, 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 good. Okay, so now we've looked at circles. Now what I'd like us to do is just to literally turn your foot out and in and down. So float it, turn it out and in and down. So let me tell you, this is going to affect this bit. So the leg is going to go out and in and down. There will be a twist in the torso, and for the purpose of this session, that's what I'm looking for. Out and in and change position. So there should be a line there, right? Out and in and down. Brace the abdominals. Shift weight out and in and down. So you may feel this in the knee. You may feel it in weird places. And over the years, what I've learned is that I'll go, oh, you could feel it here. And somebody goes, no, miss, I feel it in my ankle. We do get referred sensations. That's really common. But the area is around opening up the hip. Now, if you can imagine a life where you're spent a lot of time sat, this movement isn't such a familiar movement. So you might feel a little bit of uncomfortable for you. Are we okay? Can I have a thumbs up if we're okay? Good, 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 good. Okay, so this is, so to put it into context, this movement is us getting that leg out of bed. This is us climbing upstairs. So to put it into context, so we don't want you stiff and sore all the time. So it's a slightly different energy to it. Okay, just shake off your legs. Now here is the change. We are looking to cross and step back. So cross. So this kind of goes against what we talk about in falls prevention. So if we can just change to lower body cam. It is a cross. Ladies, you'd be way more familiar with this movement. The pee-pee dance, also known as. Use a wall or chair for support if you need to. So we're crossing over the mid-line of the body, the centre line of the body. Well done. How are you feeling, Patrice?
I'm all right, thank you.
Is this enjoyable for you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lovely. 2 more. Well done. Beautiful. And then release. Good job. Okay, switch back to camera 3. We're going to do a bit of breath work. Big camera. Lovely. Okay, now just watch me. Okay. You keep going. I'm talking straight arms. So you're kind of hitting against a wall. There's tension up towards your armpits, tension through your trunk, and you're snapping your arms. 1, 2, 3. So that forceful breath out, think about tension on. So there's that self-awareness coming on. I'm lifting up the pelvic floor. 3 strong breaths out. So again, really healthy to work on breath function. Lovely. 1, 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3. And it's strong and it's snappy. So this takes us to what we call the 100. So the 100 is a classic exercise, and it is about breath, arms and core. And that's exactly what you're doing right now at a level 1. Well done. Release, relax. Nice one. You liked it. You're like, oh, I really feel that. It makes you feel what?
Hot.
It does make you hot. So there's a compression. So when you start giving that forceful breath, there's a natural compression through your center here. And again, that is that flush, that lymphatic drainage that goes on at the same time. And because there's so much tension, suddenly you'll feel quite hot. So hydration is really important. Well done. So just relax for a second. Do you want to have a sip of water? I'm just... The wonderful thing about this lot is that they log on every week, not having a Scooby-Doo what craziness is going to come out of this studio. But you still come back, and we really respect that. Well done. Okay, so we've done some work through the shoulders. I do want to come back to shoulders. Oh, I love the shoulder work. Okay, so you've done this with Pat and me gazillion times. So this is where we start. Elbows in, elbows forward. So dumb waiter, you've already done this bit. Okay, there you go. So down.
Oh, sorry.
Are you filling up my bum now?
No, I can't. I've got the wall in the way.
So out, in, centre. Actually, I could just stand behind you, couldn't I? That would work, but this is fine. Looks nice, looks pretty. There you go, lovely. Good job. Okay, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah? All around shoulder function. So the next time we turn down, up, back in, together. And again, out. There. So it's important here. So, oh, felt my boob. What we need to do. Right. We don't need to go too high. So we need to make sure the neck is long. I'm not going to touch your chin, Pat. It's all right. So we're working shoulder muscles, but we don't have to go too high because then we're just coming into different areas. So I just really want to target around the rotator cuff. So when you rotate the hand, how far can you rotate the hand? Let's stay there now for 4 and 3. 2. Is that me? If I turn something off.
It's not you.
Oh, that side. And then release. Good job. Whew. Now you should feel a little bit like, oh, hello. Okay. Now we're going to come back to that. Okay, up, so down and back and in and out. Down and back, palms in, palms back. Well done. Down and up. I love this because I really do feel tall when I do this. There's like a real sense of like when you bring your arms together, I just like I can't go any taller. So lovely long neck, brace through your center. Think about your shoulder blades, how they're feeling now. So that's self-awareness again. We're just really tapping into how my body is reacting to these movements. Your shoulders can't get any warmer than they are right now. So this is a lovely, lovely sensation. This is us getting our coats on without going, that noise. I don't know, Shirley gets that. Tired? Are we tired?
Yeah.
Good, good. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now I want to come back to toy soldier and that combo, okay? Because we are tired, but you're lubricated now. So I'm hoping that you are a lot warmer. So shall I do it in my space first? So one high, one low, but think about the shoulders, neck long. One high, one low. And then really reach out to the sides. So come forward to me, 1 and 2, and open. Now if you're receptive to floor work, mat work, we'll do this with our legs and our arms. It's hilarious. Right, do you want to try that and sit? Yeah. So toy soldier, so that's us being soldiers, right? And then arms out, it's a windmill. I just couldn't remember it. So 1 windmill, 2 toy soldiers. Think about neck long. How tall can you be here? How does the back feel in your positioning? Brace through your center. Lovely. Bit of brain gym. This literally gets everything going. Well done. Release and relax. Good job. Give yourself a moment. That's really tough stuff. Well done. So my shoulders feel nice and lubricated. Now what I'd like to do is come back down lower body into bottom. Is everyone stood now?
No, Chris.
No, except Chris.
Chris and Margaret.
So Chris and Margaret, bottom bounces. Okay, so I want you to do little squatty things. So if Pat can demonstrate for a second, this type of thing. I just want to engage the core and the glutes. So I think one of the best way to do that is pressing the heels into the ground and almost like a semi-lift. Yeah. Okay, just stay with your safety. Those in stand, what I'm looking for are a leg back together. So this will change in a minute. So we'll all be doing a similar movement. So as we stand, we're sliding one leg back and clenching through the bum cheek. So believe it or not, opposite hand to leg makes life a lot easier. It is easier if you incorporate the arm. So what I'd like, if you're in sat, sit, reach one arm and down, sit, reach one arm and down, okay? Those in stand, here, 1. This is called pointer. It's also called swimming. Depends which school of Pilates, because that's the other thing. Pilates people can be a bit snooty about where they did their training. And if you're actually of the bloodline of Joseph Pilates, then we follow them. Over the years, I'm pretty sure that if Joseph Pilates was alive today, he would have developed his methods so much further. So there's some purists, and then there's people like me who are exercise scientists, where I've gone, actually, I get that, but Joe needs this. So, and I've kind of adapted over the years in terms of functionality. I'm keeping you going, I'm wearing you out, and I want that. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So my point is, Pilates changes depends on who you're talking to and who your trainer is. Okay, so hopefully you would have started to feel an awakening here in your back. Now that takes us back to single leg circle. So watch. So we did this movement earlier on in the session. We're coming back to it, but this time there's balance, there's lift, one circle, reverse direction. Okay, so there's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Now you can see I'm doing that quicker because I really want that full activation here, and I want us to activate through the gluteals at the same time. So there needs to be like a snap to it, a 1 and 2 and 1, and use something for support if you need to. And again, those in stand might feel that in the non-moving side. Completely fine and normal. Lovely. How does that feel in sit?
Okay.
Yeah?
It's more knee than hip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in sit, more knee than hip, really important. So the knee joint flexes and extends, it's supposed to do that, but also the knee joint is supposed to go side to side, and it's not, we don't do that enough. So this is a really nice one for sit. Okay, when you're ready, switch sides. Lovely. Think about your setup positioning. 1, 2, 1. And it's almost like you put the brakes on with each circle. 1. It doesn't matter, irrespective, the sit movement reflects the stand movement, and when it reflects like that, we're actually working the same muscle groups or similar muscle groups, okay? So it's all relative. So what you're doing in sit is perfect for you. What you're doing in stand is perfect for you. And that's the important thing here. That self-aware is about your capability, not about anybody else. I've really loved today. Love Pilates, I do. Well done. 2 more. Beautiful. Okay, and from here, rest your legs. Take your arms in front of you. We're just going to round out through the upper back for a moment. Chin to chest and stretch. Rise up. Take your arms across your shoulders and just walk your fingers around the back of your shoulders and put your chin to chest again. And maybe a little rock side to side. Just like a lovely little bear hug here. Okay, rise up. Lovely. Uncross and recross. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay, so again, see how you feel. Come back into a seated position. Take your left hand into the inside of your left knee, and I just want you to press that left arm away. So left forearm into the inside of your left knee, just press away. What we should be feeling is a stretch through the spine. If you want to, send your eye gaze further back, and if you want to, you can send your right arm away as if you're pointing into the far corner. Beautiful. Come back to center. Just relax for a moment. Press your right arm into your right thigh and press away. So there's your press. Lovely and tall. Rotate. And if you want to, send your arm away. Excellent work. Breathe. Come back to center. Well done. Okay, roll your shoulders. Oh, I love that. I love that you seem to be really responding to it as well, which is really nice. So I'm getting a real vibe from you that this is what you wanted. So that's a nice thing. Okay, lovely. Send your arms out wide. Bring your hands up, up, up. Bring the palms of your hands together into your center space. Now for a moment, if you can do this, elbows wide, and then just press into your hands and press your fingers together. So what happens is your elbows go whoom, and you might release something in your shoulder. So here's another tip. Take your heels of your hands further down and see if you can lift your elbows. Relax your neck, breathe. Intertwine your fingers, push your fingers towards me. Again, that just might release something in your shoulder. And again, I don't know, once I was told not to do that, and I don't know why. Look it up. She'll look up, she'll find out. Yeah. Okay, and then release your hands back onto your thighs. Sit back for only 60 seconds. That's all I'm asking of you today. So sit back in your chair. And we're just going to work through a count. So in Pilates, it was always either at the end of the session do a stretch or mindfulness. Over the years, we've just sat in mindfulness really strongly, so we don't always pay so much attention to the mindfulness when we're doing deep stretching, because it's value for money, see how you feel. But I always think there's a bit of time just to remind ourselves and reward ourselves of your capabilities, and that's really important. So make yourself comfortable in your chair, relax your hands on your lap if comfortable, let your fingertips gently curl, and use your breath to just slow your rate. Your breath changes now, whereas we've been using this quite strong Pilates breath. Now I'm encouraging you to bring the breath in and just allow the breath to settle into the abdomen and then maybe cascade into the feet, and feel that breath like just move around your body as you relax. Those deep breaths you take just before you fall asleep. Relaxing. And if your mind wanders, just come back to the sound of your breath. Switch into what you can hear, whether it's in the room, within you, or beyond, and just switching from one sound to the next. Come back to your center. Relaxing. Take your awareness back to your breathing. The breath in is long, the breath out longer. The breath out longer. Create some movement in your fingers and your toes. Open your eyes when you're ready, but only when you're ready. Lift your arms out wide and then up into a high V. Bring your hands together into, I forgot what it's called, into your heart space. And then do this. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done! You absolute little rock stars! Well done, everyone. That's just fab. You really moved well today, so I'm delighted. Okay, when you're ready, come off camera